Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling President Trump's latest tariff moves. We've got a stack of sources, mainly drawing from AP News updates.
That's right.
And our goal, really, is to help you understand the immediate fallout, the bigger picture of these new trade policies, and maybe what it means for you.
Absolutely. It's definitely a complex situation, lots of moving parts.
Dang.
And we're here to try and, connect those dots, see what it means for the global economy, and yes, potentially your wallet.
Okay, so let's dive in. President Trump signed an executive order, new tariffs.
Yep, set to kick in August 7th.
And this is, well, it's the latest step in his whole trade agenda, isn't it? Trying to boost U.S. manufacturing, get other countries to lower their barriers.
Exactly. But what's interesting is the backstory here. These specific tariffs, they were first threatened way back in April.
April, right. I remember the markets got pretty shaky then.
They did. And then the tariffs got postponed, not just once, but twice. And even this supposedly final August 1st deadline pushed back another week.
Why the delay that time?
They called it harmonization of rates, basically fine-tuning the details. But the effect was just more uncertainty for businesses trying to plan anything.
Okay, so with all that stop and start, what's the actual economic impact we're seeing now? Like right now on the ground?
Well, the stated aim is often hitting foreign exporters, but what most economists are finding is that it's largely U.S. companies picking up the tab for these tariffs.
So American businesses pay and that cost gets passed on.
Often, yes. Which means ultimately you, the consumer, might be the one feeling the pinch, not necessarily the foreign companies they're targeting.
And inflation, are we seeing that?
We are seeing signs. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, which is a key measure the Fed watches, it climbed 2.6% over the last year.
2.6%. So that's a real increase in costs for people.
It translates directly, yeah. Everyday goods, services impacting your household budget.
And what about the job side, particularly manufacturing jobs, which was a big focus?
Right. Well, the latest jobs report, it actually showed the U.S. economy shed 37,000 manufacturing jobs since April.
Wow, shed 37,000. That seems counter to the goal.
It does. And overall hiring slowed down sharply in June, too. Unemployment actually ticked up a bit to 4.2%.
Okay, so jobs data looking weak. How did the wider markets and other countries react to the tariff news itself?
Well, financial markets didn't like it much. Shares went down, the U.S. dollar dipped, too. And internationally, a lot of U.S. allies feel like they're being pushed into what some reports call unfriendly deals.
Unfriendly deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a tricky diplomatic situation.
Definitely a bit of a tightrope walk. Relationships can sour pretty quickly with this stuff.
And countries are reacting differently, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Take Canada. They're facing a big jump, 35% tariff now, up from 25%. President Trump cited their, quote, lack of cooperation on illicit drugs.
And Canada's response?
Their prime minister voiced disappointment. Pointed out, that Canada accounts for only about 1% of U.S. fentanyl imports.
Okay. What about others? South Korea?
Their rate actually got reduced down to 15%. But even so, their stock market, the Kospi, it still dropped almost 4%, so still a negative reaction there.
And then there are countries without specific deals.
Right. Places like Taiwan, India, South Africa, Bangladesh, they're facing duties anywhere from 10% up to 40%. It's quite a range.
And China, the biggest trade surplus with the U.S. Where do things stand there?
Still very unclear. Recent talks didn't result in a deal, so that path forward is, let's say, uncertain.
So beyond the economics and the international friction, what about the legal and political angles here in the U.S.?
Well, that's a big question. The legality of these tariffs themselves is actually being argued right now in a U.S. appeals court.
Arguing what exactly?
Whether the president overstepped his authority, did he improperly declare an emergency just to bypass Congress and impose these tariffs, that's the core issue.
Interesting. And then there's the whole situation with the Federal Reserve, right?
Yes. Ongoing pressure there. President Trump has repeatedly criticized Fed Chair Jerome Powell for not cutting interest rates faster or deeper.
He even called for the Fed's board to, usurp Powell's power.
That's the term used, yeah. Basically suggesting they should overrule Powell if rates aren't lowered, quote, substantially.
How's Powell responding to that?
He's maintaining the Fed needs to be careful. They need to see how these tariffs actually affect inflation before they make any big moves on rates.
But ironically.
Ironically, yes, that weak jobs report we mentioned earlier, that actually makes investors think a rate cut is more likely now.
It's a strange dynamic, isn't it? The market kind of betting on weakness to trigger a cut.
It really is. So, okay, we've covered a lot of ground. These tariffs aren't just, lines in a trade document. They're actively shaping economies, global relationships, even domestic politics.
Absolutely. And it feels like there's still quite a bit more to play out. Lots of uncertainties still hang in the air, especially
Hmm.
about the long-term effectiveness. So thinking longer term, what really stands out to you? How might these kinds of tariff strategies fundamentally change global trade, maybe global stability, looking decades down the line?